All right, gentlemen. I'm going to present the case here. I'm going to give you 3 reasons, and I'll stop after each one, and we can certainly react to them. Why I think the Vikings are going to win and improve to 7-2 on Sunday. And here is reason number 1.
Dalvin Cook, that's what he can do. There he goes. Dalvin Cook, all the way in for a Viking touchdown.
All right, Danny Cunningham. Reason number 1 why I think the Vikings are going to win on Sunday and extend their win streak to 5 games. Dalvin Cook and the run game. And here's why. The Chiefs are 30th in the league. There are 32 teams. The Chiefs are 2 from the bottom in rushing defense. They are giving up 145 yards per game. The Vikings are 3rd in the league, 3rd in rushing, averaging 160 yards per game. The Vikings are 2nd in the National Football League with 12 rushing touchdowns. This could be a game where, I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is not important, right? Kirk Cousins could be very important here. But this could be a game as well where you might give the ball to Dalvin Madison a little bit and win that way and, score, run clock, get a passing touchdown or 2. But as Kirk has talked about, some games they pass a lot, some games they run. I think on the road, there's a case to be made that this could be a Dalvin Cook game, that this could be a game where he absolutely has a big day, rushes for a couple of touchdowns. And Kirk Cousins is important, but the key to this game is a good run blocking defense, and Dalvin Cook, who's been spectacular throughout this season, continues to be spectacular.
Judd, right now, I don't think it's a stretch to call Dalvin Cook the best running back in the NFL. Now, you can debate that, sure, but I don't think it's a stretch. I think that he's at least, at the very, very least, in the conversation, if not the top of the conversation. And you bring up Kansas City's rushing defense is one that is 30th. And like you said, there's only 32 teams. You can't get much worse.
Exactly.
This could be a game that looks somewhat similar to the Atlanta game week 1, where Kirk Cousins only dropped back to pass 11 times, only threw 10 passes. Now, I don't think it will be that, because I do think that what their offensive identity is matters, and they don't want to go back to what they looked like week 1, because that's a step in the wrong direction for them. But if it needed to be, it could be that, and they could still be successful, because I think Dalvin Cook is that good, and this Chiefs rushing defense just isn't up to the task of stopping him.
651-646-8255. If you would like to join Vikings Ventline, we're on until noon. Let's go to the phone lines, actually, and bring in Terry. Hey, Terry, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? How you guys doing?
Awesome.
Yeah, man, I'm calling, I just heard a man speak about Dalvin Cook. That one was the question, but I don't see how they can not call Dalvin Cook the best running back in the league. They compare him to Christian McCaffrey. I feel he has just as much speed as McCaffrey, and he has something McCaffrey doesn't have, which is power. Dalvin could get you that 1 to 2 yards in the trenches. McCaffrey can't do that. He's a little too small for that. Ain't got enough power for that. Well, I want to talk about the defense. Everybody keep raving about the Vikings defense, because I'm a Viking, been a Viking since 1974. The Vikings defense be getting torched. Matthew Stafford kind of went all through Vikings defense in the air. That's what scares me about the Vikings is the defense.
Okay.
Because if you look at Matthew Stafford's stats, he threw over 300-something yards. And those guys out there be wide open catching balls. Now, the front 7, the linebackers and the D-line, nice. But secondary, the defensive line can't get there quick enough to that quarterback. The back end gonna get torched up. That's what scares me about the Vikings defense. Y'all can talk a little bit about that. Tell me what you think about that.
Perfect.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. Danny?
The defense part, I think he's half right there, because yes, the secondary is a concern, but I wouldn't expect Matt Moore to be able to do the same things that Matthew Stafford can do. And I realize that I've been higher on the Detroit Lions than anyone else that works at Score North with us. Right now.
I'm not quite sure why, but yes, you have.
But I do think Matthew Stafford's a far better quarterback than Matt Moore. Like Matthew Stafford
Matt Moore retired,
has the ability to do things that a lot of quarterbacks can't do. So yeah, he torched the Vikings secondary a couple weeks ago. But I don't think Matt Moore has the same ability to do that. Now, Xavier Rhodes is certainly still a problem, but I don't think that Matt Moore can exploit it the same way that that anyone else has been able to. I mean, we're talking about a backup, a guy that was not in the NFL last year.
Mhm.
I just don't see that being, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he catches a little bit of lightning in a bottle on Sunday, Judd, but I just don't see that happening.
651-646-8255. Viking Ventline is the show. We go to Doug next. Hey, Doug, what's up?
Yeah, hey guys. If you remember the long off season and the amount of time we spent talking about the offensive line, that's kind of gotten lost in the Kirk Cousins and the other controversy. Where is the offensive line at? What does Pro Football Focus say? Are we in the bottom half, bottom third? And then just from your opinion, how much progress have they made? Also, who really is going to give them a hard time here as you look at the schedule coming up and potentially into the playoffs?
Thanks, Doug. Collar's going to join us next, so we could certainly talk to him about what the PFF grades say, Danny, about the line play.
That's something
improved.
I really wanted to ask him, just how much better this offensive line's gotten, because it is something that I do think has improved. I mean, Garrett Bradbury's looked a lot better the last 4 weeks than he did the first 4. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Definitely, yes. As far as the schedule goes, it's weird because this is why it's so hard to predict the schedule when it comes out, because in April, when this schedule came out and you said, oh, Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, good luck, Vikings in that game, right? Now it's totally different.
Yeah.
Dallas is not playing great football, but I still think Dallas on a Sunday night defense is certainly an upgrade on defenses I think the Vikings have been facing in recent weeks. Dallas in primetime at Dallas strikes me as tough.
But I don't think we can say what Dallas team's going to show up.
Well,
I mean, is the
we
Dallas
can't,
team
he's trying
smoked Philly, or the one that lost to the Jets?
But he's trying to get us to project the rest of the schedule. And Dallas, I would think, is going to be at least difficult. They're beatable, but
That's
difficult.
Fair.
Denver, I don't see them being tough. I think they're just about basically cooked. Then it's a
they
bye
have a
week.
solid defense, but the Vikings should just destroy whatever's left of their offense.
I think Denver also, don't you? I think Denver, I think we talked about this on the Thursday show. I think they're very close to saying, yeah, that was a nice effort. See you later.
I think if things don't go well for them this weekend against Cleveland, that they could turn it in.
Of the primetime games, I could easily see, and I'm not predicting this yet, but I could easily see, Danny, I could see a primetime loss in Dallas. I could see a primetime loss basically based on the quarterback to Russell Wilson in Seattle. I could see a home primetime win against Green Bay at US Bank Stadium, and I think you beat the Chargers there. So that's 2-2 in primetime. That's not awful. That's not too bad.
Take that. You've got to be happy if you go 2-2 in those games, especially with where you have to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Los Angeles and the Chargers isn't exactly a tough place to play, but Seattle might be the toughest place in the NFL.
All right. Reason number 2 why the Vikings will be victorious at Arrowhead on Sunday.
Ryan just having to throw it out of the back of the end zone. Oh my, and he didn't get it there. It's intercepted by Anthony Harris, who has 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery.
This very much goes back to the point that caller Terry made or asked. Mike Zimmer's defense beats Andy Reid's offense, okay?
Mm-hmm.
No Mahomes. Matt Moore is likely, as you said before, to get the start, and that does not mean that Matt Moore is terrible, but it's a heck of a lot easier to attempt to contain Matt Moore than arguably the best quarterback in the league going right now. The Vikings are third in scoring defense at 16.5 points given up per game. That's important. We keep talking about this defense like it's bad now. Listen, Xavier Rhodes is struggling, and the pass defense is not playing lights out right now. But you are third in scoring defense. That is all that matters, really. That is damn good. And then the last thing about this one, Danny, is the Chiefs are fourth in the league in scoring offense at 28.3 points per game. So the point being here, and this is going to be, I think, a great defensive mastermind against offensive mastermind type of matchup. Mike Zimmer's defense prevails, and the scheme for that defense actually can contain the Chiefs' offense.
I do think that the schemes on both sides matter, but what it comes down for this to me is, where is the weak link at on both sides here? The weak link on the Vikings defense, it's Xavier Rhodes. It's number 29. It's defensive backfield right now. Now, the rest of them aren't that bad, but Xavier Rhodes has been the weak spot on this defense all season long. But, and corner is a very important position. But the weak spot on the Chiefs offense is at the most important position in sports right now because Patrick Mahomes is out. So because of that, you have to give the edge, I think, to the Vikings defense in this scenario, right?
I think so, yes. Yeah. And the thing here, though, is we do have to go back to the point that as much as we're seeing, or at least we think we are on a weekly basis, road struggle right now, Danny, and as much as we're seeing quarterbacks have more passing success against this defense than we have probably previously seen in the past 3 to 4 years, if your scoring defense is at 16 points per game, you got to be pretty happy. You're not allowing points. You're in great shape.
And that's what matters.
Yes,
that's what
exactly.
Matters. I mean,
I just think we're picking on
to...
this. I think we're getting caught up in yardage total and things like that a little bit too much, because if you're third, you're in really good shape.
Nothing really does matter other than the points that you give up, because that's what matters. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't look at the total yards and say, oh, well, we won because we allowed less yards. That doesn't matter. It's the points on the scoreboard at the end of the day are the only thing that matters. So I do think that complaining about those types of things is a little short-sighted, but I do think Xavier Rhodes is worth the breath and worth the time, because it's in a place right now where he needs to be better. They need someone in that position to be better.
And the third reason why the Vikings will be victorious on Sunday.
Play action. Cousins. Diggs. He's got it. Touchdown.
I think pressure obviously voids zones. So if you're in a 3 deep, 4 under coverage and you're not pressuring, you're only bringing 4, and then you bring a fifth, now you're 3 deep, 3 under. If you bring 6, you're 3 deep, 2 under. So I think voided zones open up throwing lanes. Obviously, the key is you got to be able to pick up those pressures and give yourself the ability to get the ball out of your hand. I think it's a great testament to protection, to O-line, to our scheme, to the plan, so that when they do pressure, it can be picked up. Obviously, if they're bringing more than we can block or they're overloaded to a side, then I've got to get rid of the football. And so just being aware of those moments.
You like that? You like that?
How football was that?
That was the most football thing Kirk Cousins has ever said, Jeff.
And that is key 3. Is Cousins, when he is asked to pass on Sunday, able to pick apart the Chiefs' blitzes, because they love to blitz, and they are 4th in the league right now with 25 sacks, okay? Last week against the Packers, the Chiefs blitzed Rodgers on 15 dropbacks, sacked him once, and gave up only 5.2 yards per attempt, but he did throw 2 touchdowns. Now, here's the most important. Here's the rub. Here is the thing that Kirk would say.
You like that? You like that?
Kirk Cousins ranks number 1 in the National Football League when blitzed this year with a 130 rating, according to Pro Football Focus. In other words, when the Chiefs bring the pressure, can Cousins identify it quickly and make the plays? Because if he does, huge advantage Minnesota Vikings.
Judd, I already said that I actually have I have confidence in Kirk Cousins this week, which is, again, a wild statement if you would have taken me back a month and a half ago.
Let's play the Cunningham tape from a month back. Yep.
Do we have that?
No, I don't think we do.
I can search for it.
I'm sure we can find it if you would like to expose
the Bears game. I can certainly look that up.
If I owe Kirk an apology, it will come at the end of the year. Like, I'm not ready to.
No, not after 4. No, none of us are apologizing right now. I agree with you on that.
I will apologize in February if I need to. But until then,
I was going to say the Chiefs love to blitz. If you can deduct, figure out, and dissect those blitzes, which is what the 2 sound bites I played from Kirk was talking about, that becomes absolutely key. Because if you are dissecting their blitz package and exposing or exploiting that, and you've got Dalvin Cook going, you're going to score points.
I think that this is going to be the week where very similar to the end of the Detroit game, where they called the play where it was essentially a one-man route for Stephon Diggs, right?
Uh-huh.
They were leading at the end. I think it was a 2nd down. They were trying to run out the clock. Detroit was using up their timeouts. They wanted to play keep away with the ball, and they called the play action pass, and it was a one-man route. The ball was either going to Stephon Diggs or it was going to nobody. And they also like to run a lot of these 2-man routes. We saw it against Green Bay when Kirk Cousins threw the interception. That was a 2-man route. It was Thielen and Diggs. Everyone else was in protection. I think that we're going to see some of that against these blitz packages this week, where they're going to hit for a long touchdown pass to Diggs or Thielen, because it's going to be a 1 or a 2-man route. It's going to be one-on-one coverage. Everyone else is going to be coming after Kirk Cousins or on their own assignment, who is blocking. So I think that that's where the Vikings could have success. I think that he's going to throw a touchdown pass of over 50 yards to Stephon Diggs or Adam Thielen this weekend.
Really? Look at you, man. Have you come around?
I think that it makes too much sense for them to not try and lean upon that.
Yes.
And they have that part of their offense down so well. They're so good at play action, where you have play action and then you keep the running back, whether it's Cook or Madison, in the backfield in protection, and you've got 7 or 8 guys protecting, and you send Thielen and Thiggs out. Let those guys go win in space, and they've proven they can do that.
That was so football right there, Danny Cunningham.
Wasn't